Good morning and welcome to Southwest Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce, the Business Brief Podcast. Today's podcast is brought to you by Texas Regional Bank, the people you know. Thank you so much for being here. We have our Lone Star College staff here with us, Dr. Nutt and Mark Peacock.
Welcome.
Super excited to be here. So, Clint, welcome, and let you kick it off, sir.
Skip, welcome. So, hey, today we're talking about something that represents a major investment in the future of Magnolia in Southwest Montgomery County. It's the Lone Star College Magnolia Center. Joining us today, we have two people who are helping to make this vision a reality. First, Dr. Ann Nutt, and she's the president of the Lone Star College System and of Tomball, the largest community college system in Texas, serving more than 97,000 students. We also have Mark Peacock. He's the executive director of the Lone Star College Magnolia Center, the brand new higher education facility right here in our community. And thank you to both of you for making this happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Dr. Nutt. Good to see you, and always good to talk about Lone Star College. And if you could just give us a brief highlight, just an overview of the different campuses, the student count, kind of the people you serve within the community, and then we'll dig a little deeper. Okay?
Yeah, you bet. Well, thank you for having us this morning. It's a privilege to get to share our story with the community. And hello to everybody who's watching and listening. So Lone Star College System is a unique and complex higher ed organization in Texas. We are a community college made up of 8 different campuses. 7 are physical campuses. 1 is an online platform. And then we have multiple additional sites that are centers that are connected to the main campuses. So the Magnolia Center is connected to Lone Star College Tomball, which is one of the 8 main campuses. I've been with Lone Star 15 years. I've watched campuses be added, centers be added, and seen a lot of growth over the years. Lone Star is considered one of the largest community colleges in the country, definitely the largest community college higher ed institution in Houston and in the state, and also one of the fastest growing. We're very fortunate to be in the Houston area. Central part of Texas is a great place to be. So we are growing and just getting better all the time.
That's great. That's great. What if you could just kind of parlay your mission for Lone Star College? What is the mission and focus?
Sure. Our mission is very similar to all community colleges, and that is just open access for anybody who wants to better their lives. Mm-hmm. What I love about the way we now frame our mission statement, and that this has changed recently, is it's simple, but it's magic. And it captures what we do in just a very few words. And those words are, we help people get from where they are to where they want to be.
That's great.
Period.
That's great. Where they are to where they want to be. Yeah. How many students right now enrolled in Lone Star College? Did you say that?
Yeah, about 97,000, 98,000 students a semester.
A semester.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So huge impact.
Huge impact. And if you think about, that's just a head count, and then that person has a family who is now aware of and benefiting from Lone Star by connection to the student. Sure. The impact is incredible.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
I just want to say, over the next couple of years, what are your projections? What are desires? And there's 2. We put realistic projections, and then we put our desires for what we want. Let's say in the next 5 years, what are your projections and or desires for this Magnolia College?
For the Magnolia Center specifically, and I'll answer and then turn it over to Mark. Our first desire was just get the thing open. It was very basic at first. And now we've accomplished that finally after several years. And our projections for this first year or so, I'd love to see us hit 200, 250 students. Mm-hmm. But over time, with the capacity that we have in this building, Mark, don't you think we will hit 2,000 students?
That's
easy.
That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
And that's, this, Mark, I just kind of pitched this to you. This was a huge investment into the Magnolia market. And obviously, Magnolia has been growing over the last few years exponentially, really, from what it had in the previous years. And I don't know if that's all COVID related or what, but we have a lot of growth going on. But Lone Star had a future vision of doing something in Magnolia and other areas like this. But the investment in Magnolia, why don't you talk a little bit about the size, the scope, what the capacity is, kind of expound on that.
Sure. Well, first, if I could say where we're located.
Sure.
We are located on 1774, just west of Magnolia West High School. So you go past the meeting place, past the high school there, Magnolia West, and then you turn right into Escondido subdivision, and we're immediately on your right there. We'd love to have folks stop by and come see what we've got there. It is a gorgeous, state-of-the-art facility, 50,000 square feet, very modern, and it is in a beautiful setting. It's surrounded by lovely trees and has a lake view, and beyond that, it is designed to really serve students as a full-service campus within Lone Star. And by full service, I mean that a student could walk through our doors, apply, and be able to be advised, take classes. They have library services there. We have a business office. We have tutoring, and they would be able then to continue through their degree, oftentimes through graduation.
Yeah, that's good. And I want to point out what you're saying there because I want to make sure that our audience understands the significance of being able to walk in and register, do everything with the counselors there, and start.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing because I'll tell you, from someone who hates to stand in lines, if you're going into another area condensed like Tomball or some other areas, sometimes you have a wait, whether it be the DMV or whatever. And that's what I do like about our area is I can walk in even over here and register my vehicle quick. And the same thing with the school. You can walk in, get everything taken care of right there. That's good for the parents. It's also good for the students. But talk a little bit about some of the programs that you're going to have here in Magnolia, and then kind of what that looks like for the future.
Sure. I would think of it in terms of maybe three legs to the stool, if you will. One would be dual credit, and how we partner with our local high school district to deliver dual credit classes within the high school. These are students earning high school credits at the same time that they're earning college credits and building their college transcript. So that's one aspect of what we do. We have transfer courses. These are courses that will help a student to earn their associate's degree, and it could be in a variety of topics and subjects. And so this could be biology, this could be history, psychology, business. We have a full slate of courses related to those transfer degrees that students would be seeking. And then our third leg of the stool would be workforce development. And at Magnolia Center, we have two different programs to serve workforce development. The first is HVAC, and the second is EMS. And so our HVAC program is starting June 8th, and we're super excited to get that underway this summer. And it has, they begin by getting their occupational certificate. And that is the first step within the HVAC program, and they can earn that in one semester. After that, then they would go on and they would take classes in the fall, and they would earn their residential certificate. And we hope in the future to offer the commercial certificate. And so that's an amazing way for a student to build a career that is job ready, that is not going to be impacted by AI anytime soon, and a good paying job that will be always in demand here in the Houston area. And before their classmates are reaching their sophomore year, they can have 2/3 of that done, which is amazing.
Well, I want to say too, I love my college degree. I continued education through SMU's program and all kinds of things. However, college education, a degree like a 4-year typical university, is not for everybody, and that's okay. Mike Rose got a big, huge push, talking about these hands-on jobs, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, welding, all great career fields. And I know Lone Star, you guys are taking full advantage of that. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of those other programs?
Yeah, well, I want to pick up on that and then kind of in our mission to your very point about preparation for the workforce. Community colleges are a uniquely American institution. They were started in the United States, where universities have a more of a not as much of an American influence. So community colleges were unique from the beginning, and the mission was access to higher ed for all. Mm-hmm. We call that College 1.0. A few years ago, then the national agenda for community colleges became completion. We want people to come here and everybody to have an opportunity, but we need more people to finish their degrees. That was College 2.0. Now the national agenda among community colleges, there's about 1,200 of us nationwide, is referred to as College 3.0. And that mission is success after graduation. It's one thing to be accessible and have people come. It's an improvement to focus on completion. Now the focus is, are they completing a degree that's in a high demand field that can earn a little wage so that they can pursue a career and be debt free? All of those connect. So our role and our mission is to find those programs and offer those workforce opportunities where people can have access, change their lives, get to where they want to be, and have a great living and career afterwards. And that's what uniquely positions Lone Star.
I found one other aspect as a parent. My daughter went to Lone Star. There were two other things I saw that Lone Star took care of. The first one was the cost, the difference between cores, between here and Sam. The second one was these kids are leaving high school. All of a sudden, they're wanting their independence. What I found with my daughter was, you text me if you're not going to be home when you tell me. But it was, I'm going to give her the freedom that she's going to take when she gets away to college, but Dad is still close enough. If I need to go help her out, don't get behind the wheel, I'll come get you, something like that. And that was a real peace of mind. Plus, she worked until she got to Sam. So there's the responsibility for the kids of going, this isn't just a free ride. It cuts down on cost and also allows those kids to get a good taste of freedom while they're still close enough for mom and dad to be there.
So much of what we're doing is it's accessibility. And we're really helping students to get from where they are to where they want to be, even as they're in high school. And then starting out, we hear these stories of students accumulating hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. That's not our model. Our model is to help students to be able to succeed and get where they want to go, and in a way that involves the least friction possible, so that they have not only an outstanding and an excellent educational experience, but then it leads to that good paying job.
Yeah, and that's we're gonna hit on this a lot because I think this is very important for the Magnolia community. So MISD, those students in high school can come in and get dual credit. I know my niece, and I'll shout out to Rayleigh. She graduates here pretty soon.
Hi, Rayleigh.
She'll have an associate's degree when she graduates high school, and so this is the same principle, right? They get some college credit. They get out of high school. They go straight into transition. They get the fundamentals out of the way, so when they get to college, they can focus on what they want to do, whether it be HVAC, EMS, plumbing, electrical, or nursing. And I want us to touch on the nursing. There's such a huge opportunity and a shortage right now with nurses that you guys have a program that is cost effective versus going to the big 4-year university and spending a lot of money. They can come out, have a nursing degree, and make the same money. And so would you guys like to talk about that?
Yeah, I'll talk about that a little bit. We had the opportunity of, along this entire spectrum of nursing, for a student to start from as a certified nurse aide, fastest, quickest, but the lowest paying. But as a job, if someone wants to access health care and start working as a nurse, we offer licensed vocational nursing, which is the next level. Associate degree nursing, which is the 2-year program they'll finish with a RN. And Lone Star even offers a bachelor's degree in nursing, BSN.
Wow.
So someone could take at Lone Star that entire pathway and pay less than they would for one 4-year degree. And so that entry point, whether it's CNA or LVN or straight into the RN program, just provides a guaranteed opportunity for students because the demand for nurses is so great. Yeah. And so we're proud to offer that. It's affordable, and the wages and the demand at the end of that opportunity are real.
Right. I wanted to print out, and I didn't get to it, but I wanted to print out the average 4-year degree cost in the state of Texas from a public education standpoint. And it's got to be astronomical. I know my daughter went to University of Arkansas. It was not cheap there. It's not cheap in Texas. But to be able to say, hey, I can go for maybe 1/3 or half the cost and come out and not have that burden, that is a burden on if the parents are deciding that they're going to pay for it, or the student is kind of like me, a one-off that, was not supported by parents, just went on through themselves to get those student loans and probably didn't qualify for grants and all those things. I'm older, so those things weren't available like they are now, but to come out and not have the debt, to not have that burden and that weight on top, it's like, I've got to make that payment every single month. It's a huge impact. The pay is not different based on the paper.
Right.
The pay is the same. It's what you do with when you get there. I've always said, look, I went to I love to say this, my whole 4-year education was about $17,000. Of course, I'm old, right? But the fact that it never held me back that I didn't go to a premier top school, right? I got everything that I could out of that institution. I took every class I could. And from that point, I made it my own way. So, and I think that's what you guys are trying to instill in your students at Lone Star is that, look, you get this and the sky's the limit. You're the only person in the mirror holding you back.
That's exactly right. And kind of put it in perspective, it's been a while since I've looked at university costs, but Lone Star's tuition is $111 a credit hour. Wow. So one class is $300. Now, I don't want to minimize that for some people, $300 is a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And so we very much appreciate those folks out there who support our foundation, who donate to scholarships. Most of our students qualify for some kind of financial aid. But in the perspective of the cost of higher ed, a student can get one class for less than the cost of one credit hour. Correct. And all classes mostly are 3 or 4 credit hours. Mm-hmm. And so when that math works out, you can see where an associate's degree, transfer associate's degree is 60 credit hours. Well, for $6,000, you get all of these.
Your return on investment
your
is
$6,000 doesn't go very far
and that gets
in university.
We were talking before the show about this class that we want to teach on financial literacy. Mm-hmm. The ROI of your education is picking a education program that matches what your income's going to be, so you can figure out what rate of return am I getting, and that's exactly what we're talking about. But it's not just. I want to make sure it's not just students coming out of high school. You have the adult programs too. I actually just registered, by the way, because I'm over 50.
Did you do the all program?
I did. I got registered. I paid my little money there, and I'm ready.
Your big $25.
My big $25 to join. But the interesting thing is, I'm looking for the AI class, and we talked about this. In the financial industry, we are rapidly changing, and AI is becoming not a tool anymore, but a mainstay of how you manage each and every day. If I'm doing PowerPoints or I'm doing letters or guess what? AI is scrubbing it for me. So let's talk a little bit about some of the adult programs that you have, because I think that's an important aspect for Magnolia and this community, that people maybe already out of school can come back and get refreshers or get a skill set or get some program that they just have an interest in.
I didn't realize you had AI. I'm going to be registering because I use it all the time with my commercial insurance business, but I stumble through it.
What I learned recently at an event where the person over our AI program, and that's at our University Park campus, which is very much our teammate in this along 249. We call it Team 249. She taught me the other day at this event that most of the students who are registering in the AI program are people just like you. They're out there working, bank presidents, all professionals, who are saying, I have got to know this. And I said, I just got a text from a guy the other day, and I mentioned you. And you're exactly right. That's who are finding that program. So, but to answer your question, so we've got lots of entry points into the college. You mentioned the All Program Academy of Lifelong Learning. That's a niche program, volunteer teachers, special interest, leisure learning, whatever, from history to AI to you name it. The topics are limitless. We have a department called Continuing Ed, which is in higher ed vernacular called non-credit. It's a terrible name, but that's what we call it, and we're trying to change that narrative. Those would be programs like phlebotomy, EKG, EEG, some of those very quick, very just turnkey, go get a job, entry point kind of trainings. Those then can provide access into other healthcare programs, and you can build on those. But what's great is anybody, any age, any prior education can take any of our classes. And so you see a diversity in our courses of age, of ethnicity, of background, socioeconomic status, and that diversity in the classrooms brings a lot of good experience to the classroom because of that exposure.
Yeah, that's great. I know we talked about all kinds of different programs. Obviously, EMS is a big program. You want to talk a little bit about that?
And kind of to build on that, many of our programs, you've probably noticed, we use this stair-step approach where it can be intimidating to say, here's a 2-year degree, let alone a 4-year.
Right.
And someone may say, well, I don't know if I can take all of that. Well, here's a program that you can do in 1 semester.
Yeah.
You can get started. Don't let that hold you back about thinking that it may be too much. You can go ahead and get your basic EMT in 1 semester, and off you go.
Yeah.
Now, after that, you can go on and get your paramedic, and you can get fully licensed. And it's that kind of stair-step approach that I think helps working adults who feel like, their fear is that maybe I missed the boat, or maybe it's too late for me. It's not too late.
It's never too late.
There are opportunities. We try to schedule classes in a way that will meet the needs of students. So we'll have morning and afternoon and evening classes. So we're trying to meet students where they are to make sure that they're all being served as best we can.
Yeah.
And so our EMS program is an example of that. We're hoping to get that started. We're interviewing today, actually, for our EMS director. And with that person in place, then we'll get our accreditation and our state approval, and we'll be off and running with that program.
Yeah. And you went right down the path I was trying to lead you, Mark, and that's good, because it's like if you go get a job in EMS, let's say you take the first step, that first tier step, then you can go get a job where you can make money to help pay for the next step. Yeah. And then make a little more money to pay for the next step. And it's a beautiful progressiveness to it, which really brings us to this whole community-minded approach that Lone Star College does. Lone Star College invests in a community where the community itself, and this is one thing we've been talking about with all the election stuff going on, and just all kinds of different growth at Magnolia Center. We would love to be able to see Magnolia ISD students grow up in that system, turn around and go to school right here, but also be able to get jobs right here. And so kind of partnering with the Chamber of Commerce and the economic development and the workforce development that you guys do, this is a hand-in-hand partnership to go out and recruit companies to come to this area that are high-paying jobs, not just tech, but oil field services jobs, let's say a bit manufacturer or motherboard manufacturer, any kind of workforce development. But Lone Star College is the component that allows the city of Magnolia to actually be able to go out and do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about what that partnership would look like for you guys.
Well, I think, one of the ways I've seen it already, we've been open since January. One of the ways I've already seen that play out is that when employers and those looking at Magnolia to invest, to build their infrastructure, their plant, their retail space, one of the things they're impressed with is coming out and seeing that we are investing. We're investing in education. They see that, and they recognize we have an educated workforce, and we have partners in education that are very attentive to making sure that we're delivering for their workforce needs.
Yeah.
And so I believe that what we do is hand in hand with our local business efforts and our economic development.
Yeah, and of course, I work with the city on the economic development. The chamber works with the city on that. Now we have you out there, and so when we go and look for a company, and we say, "Hey, we want to bring this company to town," and let's say it's a welding program, then Lone Star College, at some capacity, has a welding certification program. We could feed those students into. The students could come back and live and work in the same community they grew up in, and that's a testimony to a lot of the parents want that, obviously. But a lot of the business owners want to say, hey, we want to hire kids from here that live here, grew up here, that want to remain here and raise their family here. I think to a certain degree, Clint, that's you. I mean, you were raised here. Your family raised you here, and then you're here, and you're raising your family here. So, unfortunately, I'm a transplant. I got here as quick as I could, right? But I love Montgomery County. I've been here since 2003. On and off, so it's a great opportunity to raise your family in this county. But even Magnolia itself, now that we have Lone Star College, that's that three-prong approach.
Absolutely, we can't do it alone.
That's right.
We can't do it alone, and we are reliant and interdependent with economic development in the community and the city and civic organizations, because students, we want them to graduate, we want them to have jobs. But we want them to have incredible lives, too, and often that's at home. And when they have the good fortune of living in a place that has the strength of the relationships between various organizations that can create this experience where they can stay home. Yeah. It doesn't get much better than that in my book.
There's a significance that you guys play, too, and that is you start teaching these young adults how to operate within a team. Yes. I think we've got a generation where their phones, we have as parents allowed too much time on a phone. So therefore, by the time they're ready to get a job, if they could get a job working from home, I think a lot of students would, where they didn't have to interact. But with what the college does, with what Magnolia ISD does, you start preparing these young adults to come in and work for a skip or somebody where they start going, I have to work within a team. Because if you can't function within that team, then it's not that you don't want to succeed by yourself, but you become a real problem. And Tony Robbins has once said, I don't care if your superstar is earning you all the money. If they're a disruption to your team, your superstar has to go, because ultimately they're going to cost you money.
There's an interesting development in higher ed these days just along those lines, and we're working very intentionally on it at Tomball, and we call it GPA+. And employers, to your point, a high GPA is an indication. It's an indicator. A degree is an indicator that someone can start and finish. But what we're not currently providing our students with is a way to show an employer, I've also attained these durable skills. I can handle conflict. I know how to communicate. I show up on time. I can work as a team. There's about, well, the list is endless, but about 20, 25 durable skills that employers are looking for in students and people they hire. And employers are looking less at what your GPA is. Yeah. And if a GPA may not be a 4.0, but if we can give our students a way to measure and tangibly demonstrate that I've gained these skills as well. Research is showing that employees, and just what you said about Tony Robbins, I'd rather have that higher durable skills score with a little bit lower GPA rather than the 4.0 and someone who can't get along or show up.
Yep.
And so we're one of 5 colleges in the country. Our campus is one of 5 in the country, working with a nonprofit called Education Design Lab. And for we're finished year 1. Now we have a couple more years with them. It's a 5-year commitment where we are identifying within the courses we already teach, where is critical thinking showing up? Where is problem solving showing up? And then developing a measurement for that and giving our students that information to walk into your business and say, I'm a Lone Star Tomball grad. Here's my GPA. Here's my degree. Here's my GPA plus score.
Are you teachable?
Right. I mean, that's
Because-
one of the
yeah, are you coachable?
Right.
And so we're in that process now. We have, through this design thinking process, getting employer voice into what those skills should be and what you're looking for. And that's one way Magnolia can help us, because we need more employers along this 249 corridor, from University Park all the way to Magnolia and beyond, up to A&M if someone wants to transfer, to tell us the skills you're looking for. And so beyond we need a welding program, beyond we need whatever the curriculum is, okay, check, yes, and what are those durable skills you're looking for in your employees?
Well, that's outstanding. It sounds like to me you guys are hyper-focused on making sure that these young people coming out are ready to go to work and hit the ground running.
Right.
You know, I always say when you take a new job, there's a learning curve, right? But if you have a student that is already engaged, knows how the social skills work, knows how to kind of deal with conflict, in every job there's conflict. And so having those skill sets already available is, I've never heard of this. This is amazing.
It's pretty new. It's pretty
great.
innovative, and that's why I'm appreciative of the Design Lab to take this vision, how do we translate this? And it's more than a LinkedIn badge. It's more than watching a video and saying, now I know how to do this, right? And so we're not there yet, but we're in the development stages and really, really focused on it.
You said something that I hope that people picked up on. You're one of 5 in the nation that are kind of piloting this. That's a testimony to the powerful impact that Lone Star College has, not just in Texas, but across the country. That's huge. Obviously, you talked about almost 100,000 students. There's a huge economic impact to that with our metro area for Houston. But think about that 100,000 students. Let's just say, 20 or 30,000 of them are getting out, getting some kind of degree plan, moving to the next level, and then another 20,000. And so you're just rolling these people into the community that are coming out with skill sets that they can hit the ground running. That's amazing. Yeah. That is amazing. That's a great job on that.
Yeah, thanks.
Well,
compounding impact, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I want to kind of shift this just a little bit. I mean, we've talked a lot about the school and economics and the programs, but I want to shift it a little personal. And Mark, I know you taught you said about 19 years, and I just kind of want to pick your brain. I know there has been some professors to me that are to this day still very close to me, and I talk to on a regular basis, that have made a big impact in my life. Has there ever been a student that you taught over the years that you felt like you made a great impact, and you look at them today and you look, wow, I mean, I was a part of that journey and how important that journey was?
Yeah, that's the reason you go into this line of work.
Wait, you don't go into education for money?
It's not for the money. No, it's not for the money. You go into this line of work because you want to make a difference. Yeah. You want to impact lives. Right. And we get to do that every day, and we get to also impact the community. Mm-hmm. There's no greater thrill than having those success stories along the way, right, and having those students come back and say, you made a difference. And, I still remember this lesson or that lesson. Mm-hmm. And I was like, really, that's what you remember? But it's funny what they'll remember. And it's not often from the textbook. It's the real life stories. It's the examples. It's the scenarios. It's my own experiences that, it had a handle on it, and they could take it with them. And they took that experience, and it made a difference. I taught for 19 years at Milligan University in Northeast Tennessee, and one of my great joys was I was the chaplain for the baseball team on campus, and so I got to know those guys and work closely with them, and we attracted students from all over, just this little college there in Tennessee. And we had a steady stream of students that came from the Dominican, and just great helping them and really mentoring them through the transition from their culture to our culture into our higher ed ways of doing things. But even last week, I talked to one of my students from that cohort of baseball players from the Dominican. He works for. He had worked for UPS, now he's with Amazon, and he is high up there, and he's supervising loads of people and jetting around the country, and it's amazing. It's just amazing. And you start to have different conversations, and now I can ask him, what's going on in technology in your world. And, it's so fun to see that relationship shift over the years.
That's fantastic. What about you, Dr. Nutt?
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking about a couple of specific students. 3 actually come to mind. First one is Catherine. I didn't even know I was impacting her till she told me I was. And she was one of our very successful students who was awarded a very prestigious transfer scholarship worth about $150,000 transfer.
Wow.
And her story was, I had never believed I could do it. And if it wasn't for you and what you taught me, and I'm thinking, I'm not sure what I taught you, but I'm so glad I did. And it's just through our engagement and natural relationship and presence and telling our own stories. So she completed her degree. She is still engaged with the college. She supports us as an alumni, and she's pursuing other education and graduate school. And she often has sent me a note that just says thank you. Wow. And that's incredible. Doesn't get any better than that. Another one is named Mark. Mark was a student who came to us who didn't believe he belonged, struggled early in elementary, and the experiences our students have before they come to us form the beliefs they hold about themselves and about education. And unfortunately, most of those experiences aren't great. And some have even been told, you're not college material, you'll never make it, you're not smart enough. Or they come to us with this narrative, I'm not rich enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough. And Mark was one of those students.
Wow.
And I was telling a group of students, he was involved in a student organization, and I'd been invited to come visit with that group, and I just shared my story of how education changed my life and how it brought me out of a situation of poverty and adversity in my younger days. And I hadn't met him yet, but I was kind of watching him when I was giving that presentation because he wouldn't look at me. And I thought, what's going on? I just noticed. Yeah. And afterwards he came up. He said, can I come talk to you? I said, yeah, of course. So he came by a couple of days later and just sat in my office. He said, I couldn't look at you because you were telling me my story.
Wow.
And I just was so stunned to hear your story. And he 2 hours just told me his story. It was unbelievable. And to this day, he's like my own kid. And he was on campus last week for Phi Theta Kappa induction. He told his story to the other students, gave him a big old hug. And he'll just be somebody I'll always remember as having an opportunity to help him. Wow. He's now finishing his bachelor's degree. He wants to teach math in college. That's his dream. The other one's a guy named Charlie. I met Charlie at a student event one evening. Charlie then became one of the most engaged students on our campus, served in SGA, Phi Theta Kappa, all of these different leadership roles. And there's just story after story. But Charlie is now graduating from A&M. He comes and sees us. He did an alumni panel for us a couple of weeks ago. We just developed these relationships and these connections that run pretty deep, and that's worth a whole lot.
You make them feel important, and I don't think that you can't overstate that.
That's right.
If you make somebody feel significant, then they remember you. And it's not that you don't touch every student, but some students don't need.
Right.
And when you were talking about people feeling like they're not college material, I don't think a lot of these kids understand your frontal lobe is not fully developed until about 25 or so. Very briefly, school, I had to work at it. Something happened after my 20s. Fender Securities license, insurance license, Microsoft Systems certified engineering. My brain shifted from not being able to test to smiling, going,
Got it.
I won't fail. When I
Yeah.
went to Allstate and I said, you got to get Finner license, people had failed. I smiled. One of my best friends was there and I said, I won't fail any of them. I passed each one of them. But as I talked to my daughter in real estate, I went, your brain, you have to start thinking differently. I said, your college exams, those finals are different than state certification exams or those. And all of a sudden, the analytical side of how my mind worked versus the retention side kicked in. And I think for students to go, I'm not college material, that doesn't mean you're not going to be successful. It means you might have to work a little harder right now. But as you grow in age, the brain does too in how it responds.
You are spot on. And that is such a mindset, too, because what our brains do to us when we haven't had adversity or we haven't had to be challenged and we've been told, you're so smart all of our life, then when you hit that challenge, our brain doesn't know what to do with that because, wait a minute, if I'm smart, why am I failing this test? And I've never had to work hard before. It's always come naturally. Something must be wrong with me. And it's that mindset is just critical for that success and that shift in belief in yourself and that like acceptance that challenge is a good thing. Mm-hmm. Being told you can do this better is a good thing, and accepting that and seeing that as a way to succeed instead of, well, see, I told you I'm not college material. I think that's one of the biggest challenges for students to finish. It's not the academics, it's the mindset.
Yeah.
Clint, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Go ahead.
Name a teacher that impacted your life.
I have two.
Okay.
First one's my 7th grade Texas history teacher. He impacted it because the first day of class he wrote the number 7 on the board. And he was older in age, but he said, every one of my students, when they see me, they'll remember this number 7. 7th grade to 56. And I'm a history buff. And we were talking, if I can find it on Netflix or Prime, I love history. I want to know how the country was built, the entrepreneurs. I used to laugh and tell people, you need me to understand something, put a $sign in front of it. You want me to, in my first career, I told you, was a design draftsman. Shifting to algebra and trig, I was thankful for computers because my mind worked by $sign. The second teacher, you guys may know, Mrs. Carr. She was at Magnolia for years. She was my kindergarten teacher and my 8th grade English teacher. Mm-hmm. But my kindergarten teacher, in her entire career, she only had to give one student swatch the first week in class.
I wonder who that was.
She looked at me and told me to do something, and I went, you're not my mom. I don't have to listen.
Oh, no.
She says, I'll call your mom. I said,
we're
I'll pick up the phone, and I will hang up on you. I'll mail your mom. I'll get the letter, and she won't get it. Okay, Clint, I got swatched that day.
Oh, my gosh.
She was one of my favorite teachers. Her son, Carl Carr, is a doctor in the area, and anyway, a neat family. And Miss Carr, bless her soul, they're no longer with us. But that is that English teacher.
That's great.
And first week, but she probably got my attention because of the swats. My favorite coach was Coach McGinney. What did he do? He gave me swats for disrupting class. My personality is, you want me to like you, earn my respect. Discipline me.
That's one way to do it. That paddle will get some respect.
But it's relationships, and it's the people that you remember are the ones who cared the most. Mm-hmm. They listened the best.
I'd have busted my behind for that comment.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to learn. You're going to be respectful. I mean, that's the one thing Dad pounded into me. Yeah. You're going to be respectful. And if I got in trouble at school, it wasn't over, and I had better not get in trouble for being disrespectful. So I don't know what the 6-year-old was thinking, how that was going to work out, you know.
I think it's great that you remember that so clearly.
Mine, I have two. One was Dr. Russell Sapal. I say doctor, I think he's got his PhD. He was my principal in high school. He was also, his first year out of college, he taught my sister. So he knew my family over multiple kids. And so it was first name basis, and like you, I don't call them swats. I got paddled. I mean, and you could hear the wind from the paddle.
Did you ever get paddled?
Oh no!
Oh, me either. I'm just like, man. I can't even. No. I would never get in trouble. I was a rule follower for sure.
Terrible, but I remember him. I'd gotten in trouble 10th grade year, and he gave me some very sound advice that I needed to change my life, or I'd end up like other people that I didn't want to be like. And so I shifted schools, changed my friends, changed my outlook on life, and it changed the trajectory of my life. And so that was one. And Dr. Lila Walker, which was one of my professors in college, kind of like you, she believed in me when no one else was, because I wasn't college material according to everybody. And so she really believed in me and said, you can do this. And so she invested in me, which is kind of what I want to close out on this. We all talk about those that we impacted. You did, and we were impacted. There is a common thread. This community invests in those students at MISD. Those teachers invest in them. You invest in those students at Lone Star College. The key is we give and invest in those that we want to see do better. And to me, an education is not necessarily going to some 4-year degree and getting it, although that's important. It's finding a way to be invested in to make your life better. And really, we should all, teachers, professors, students, we should all be thinking about our legacy. What does it look like when we're gone? Who did we impact? Who did we invest in? And for you guys, you have a great story of investing in others to create a next generation that will hopefully then reinvest in someone else. So we appreciate your commitment to Magnolia. We appreciate the investment that you've made in this community. $28 million is not a little bit of money. So it is a significant...
And our chamber.
Yes, and our
Thank
chamber,
you.
your investment in the chamber. You're always here. You're on the board. You're always engaged. And so we are so appreciative of that, because our community